back here with Adam Jones now. Adam, it feels like there's real buzz around the Red Sox in general, but specifically this matchup. Yes, because of Skenes. He's one of the stars of the game. He's one of the young faces of the game right now. But also because of Tolle. Are you sensing that as well? Are you, as a Red Sox follower, excited to see what this kid can give them?
I think you should be. It's the 5th top 100 guy they've had this year. And to me, that's more than most organizations get in a given year. It's a starter, which to me makes it extra interesting. It's not just 3 or 4 at-bats, a play here or there in the field. You can actually invest. Watching Tolle, and he's a strikeout guy. Plus, he's got the mustache look. He's got the whole thing going. So, yeah, I'm very much in on this start. It's cool who's on the other side as well in Paul Skenes, which gives it more of a big game feel, I think.
The look, the stash, the frame. He's 6'6", and he's built like a brick you-know-what house. I mean, he has the potential to be a cult hero here very, very quickly, depending on how he performs. And I think this is worth, even though he's one of the game's top prospects, it's worth just tracking this because he has been brought up so quickly. Was this the right time, in your opinion, for the Red Sox to bring him up, or were they forced to do it because they felt like they needed that kind of help in their rotation?
So do you mean specifically against Skenes or just in general the timing of it?
Either way.
Some people don't like him going against Skenes.
I'll tell you right now, I don't love the matchup because this is a young player who has been rocketed through the system. You'd like to give him a few runs. You'd like to give him a little run support so that when he gets out there second, third inning, if he lasts that long, he can maybe take a deep breath and feel like the game's not all on his shoulders. You go against Skenes, odds are there's going to be a 0 on the scoreboard for a long time tonight.
No, I think that's fair. I like that he gets thrown right into a big matchup with Skenes on the other side. Red Sox put out a video from Worcester where he met with manager Chad Tracy. They do this. They've done this with a lot of their prospects this year, where he breaks the news. Hey, it's TBD. It's against Paul Skenes. What do you think about getting a start at Fenway Park? And he's, tears in his eyes. He's ready to go. So I like they're throwing him into that. It doesn't bother me at all that they're, quote unquote, rushing him to the big leagues. Teams do this. We talk to Rob Bradford every week on Jones and Keefe. He mentioned weeks ago the David Price analogy, where David Price came up, mostly a bullpen option for Tampa that year, lights out guy in the ALCS head-to-head against the Red Sox in 2008. They went to a World Series. So that's a high-end comp, but I think he can make a big impact for a team that needs it.
And those guys, like Price, Tolle played big-time college baseball at TCU. Price was at Vanderbilt. Maybe they're a little bit more ready than most. We will see 2 of baseball's best young stars, not including Tolle, tonight, as Skenes takes on Roman Anthony. Skenes with the second lowest ERA through 50 starts since 1920. Anthony, meanwhile, just the 7th player in MLB history with 25 or more extra base hits and a 400 or better on base through 66 games, all before turning 22 years of age. The others, get a load of this list. Albert Pujols, Juan Soto, Ted Williams, heard of him? Stan Musial, Frank Robinson, and Willie McCovey. Woo! Holy mackerel. We want you to join in on the conversation. Which young star would you rather have on your team? Anthony or Skenes? Scan the QR code on the screen to vote. My answer, and I'm not doing it just because he's the local guy, I'm going to go with the hitter over the pitcher every single time, even if the sample size is a little bit smaller. I think Roman Anthony is the real deal. That list that we just showed you is not unique. You can pull a variety of different stats, and Ted Williams is on there. Hall of Famers up and down the thing. Who knows if he eventually gets to that, but that's how good he's been, Adam, and I'll take the everyday player over the pitcher, especially these guys. The velocities are so crazy now. I worry about injuries with some of these starting pitchers, and I would worry about it with Skenes.
So with an elite bat, and Skenes probably is the best pitcher in baseball. If I was going to start any franchise with a pitcher, he would probably be the guy. I would always skew hitter as well, whether that's Bobby Witt, whether that's Anthony, whether that's Kurtz in Oakland. We were going through some of these names earlier today. I think you go bat every day of the week. It's not being a homer with Roman Anthony. He's special. He's one of 5 players at age 21 who have gotten $100 million contracts. So, yeah, I would start with him, even though Skenes is great.
I mean, he's top 10 in baseball, really, over the course of the last 2.5 months. And on base, and average, if you're a fan of the advanced analytics, like the barrel rate and the hard hit percent, I mean, it's through the roof. I mean, I don't want to get Jones all hot and bothered here, but it's been pretty good for Roman Anthony. Okay, we talked about Craig Breslow's positive moves today. Today, he cut one of his worst moves in Walker Buehler. Here's Breslow explaining the decision so soon after demoting him to the bullpen.
We had the expectation and anticipated being able to give him plenty of time to to get used to that role and to pitch his way into leverage spots. But like I said, the circumstances kind of around the roster had changed, and we did make sure that we're thinking about best positioning this group to win as many games as possible down the stretch here.
All right, Adam, you're somebody who's given Craig Breslow a lot of credit for how the Red Sox have performed this season. And the Walker Buehler move, not a great move for him. You would acknowledge it. I, of course, would acknowledge it because I think the Red Sox right now are winning in spite of Craig Breslow. He traded away arguably their best hitter, Roman Anthony. He's great. But to trade away Rafael Devers and get very, very little in return is strike one. Strike two would be calling up Roman Anthony as late as he did. We were clamoring for that call-up for weeks, it felt like. He was just languishing in Worcester, and he did nothing at the trade deadline for a team that really deserved to have significant moves made to help them extend whatever run is coming their way in October. 3 strikes for me. I'm not doing backflips over Craig Breslow. He's getting a lot of credit, especially from people like you lately, Jones, and I'm not here for it.
It's really not lately. I've been doing this for a while, so I'll give you quite a bit. The deadline, dud. Can't give him any credit for that. Walker Buehler, horrendously bad. I can't give him any credit for that. I like trading Devers. I advocated for trading Devers, but you still need to get something in return. So I'll meet you on all those. I think not calling up Anthony is contract manipulation, service time manipulation. I would blame ownership more so for that. But if you want to throw that on the list, fine. He signed Chapman. He traded for Crochet. The last GM never in a million years would have done that trade where he parted with the prospects he did for Garrett Crochet. I give him full credit for that. If you don't want to give him credit for Bregman, you think that's more Cora or more ownership, fine. I'd put it on his list. He's had contract extensions for Bayo and Rafaela. He signed Giolito last year. Giolito's been a top 5 pitcher in the AL for the last couple of months. So I think he's a good GM. He's not Theo. He probably isn't Dombrowski. He's a good GM, and it's a good roster.
He's had hits. There's no question about it. I'll give him, Carlos Narvaez. I'll give him that. There have been a number of different moves that he's made that he deserves credit for. But there are some big ones, and those to me are the big ones. What would this team look like if they weren't having to lean on Aroldis Chapman as frequently as they do in these one-run games?
He signed him. That was his guy.
He's great. How about winning games 5-2 instead of 3-2 all the time? You might be able to do that had you not traded away your best middle-of-the-order bat.
You might be able to. The Giants aren't, and the Red Sox didn't when he was here, but yeah.
The Giants as a team are not going to be reflective of Rafael Devers as a player. It just so happens there are times where there are good players on bad teams. Rafael Devers is still on track for 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. If he's in a lineup with Roman Anthony and Trevor Story hitting the way he's hitting and Alex Bregman hitting the way he's hitting, Jones, they're like the runaway favorite for World Series. It's a much better roster. You have to acknowledge that.
Well, no, they should have replaced.
How is it not?
They should have replaced Devers. I don't think it's a good roster with Devers here. And I think the last time there was a winning record with Devers was 2021.
Stop blaming wins and losses. Get them out. Why is it a worse roster with Rafael Devers?
Because they now have roster flexibility. They have guys who can move around, guys who can get in the lineup and not just married to playing a DH every day, a guy who refuses to go into the field, which, by the way, the second he got to the Giants, he started playing in the field. I think it's a more complete roster. It gives Alex Cora more options. I think that's part of the reason. Anthony getting called up is a big one, but it's part of the reason why you see more wins now that Devers is gone. And it's been a long time since he's been part of a winning team. I wouldn't extract him from any wins and losses. If you're a good player and a $30 million a year player, more than that, you should impact wins and losses.
I just can't buy that Ref Snyder over Masahiro Tanaka is the reason why they're winning a lot of games. That's the roster flexibility you have right now. You don't need it. You need Roman Anthony. You need Rafael Devers. You need good players, especially in the postseason. I'm sorry, Jones. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I get to have the last laugh on this show because I'm hosting, so sorry about that.